The hue of the title's blue is not the same as the sky's tone, it's turquoise, referencing turquoise-sky relation in Native American mythology. The dominance of blue in North American native cosmologies cannot be underestimated. He failed to buy enough blue beads and blue blankets for the expedition. Blue, as any French or British trader knew, was the favorite color with Indians. Those tremendous mountains. 1980. Kubrick merges film convention, rising titles to mimic an end, and cosmology, the turquoise blue being sent skyward, a visual simplification of east-west phenomenon contrast, a visual incantation score to the similarly dual, warfare-laced music. As a geological form, the turquoise's color is an element of an Earth-Lake merging sky glyph. At times the word shot is inappropriate, since it indicates a still frame that began the film and continues, through color exchanges, evolving transitionally into color movements seen later in the film. Here blues of the underworld meet the upper world, repeatedly, from sky's reflection to titles. Titles amplified color oppositions. Blue-yellow. Sky car. Divider line credits. If the road is painted with yellow, an unconscious pattern to west signals the sun with, then titles follow suit in opposition, consciously contrasting the film with turquoise. Another right angle, the beetle, seems so overlaid with sun flares, visually embodying the name of the road and the name of the film, an intentional optical conjuring. These sun flares' yellow hues later transition into the underworld portals of the Overlook's purified blood red, both flow from left sides. Kubrick uses flares and reflections intentionally, they are not random. By employing uncoated lenses, coated lenses reduce flare effects dramatically. He keeps us more than aware of the sun in a film about a supernatural force named after the sun's power. Kubrick never films the sun directly, instead he carefully showcases the sun as a refracted image, broken into two projections, optical ghosts of the sun. In the lower right capture, double suns are seen directly above the J. Though the surrounding flares are distortions of the sun, these two clearer objects are more akin to camera obscura effects. They are direct prisms of the sun's image onto film. Below these two frames is a coated lens flare showing two clearly defined sun-refracted images of a solar eclipse. The flares and the road's lines share similar angles. Two key overlooks. Kubrick's most subdued pairing has a yellow sun aiming for the hexagonal aperture refraction over the road, and cars, one is even parked, restaged later with yellow bowl, toy cars and a hexagonal carpet pattern, just outside of room 237. Beetle arrives at the overlook. We, and the mountain's peak, overlook this overlook. The roof of the hotel does not reach the sky, it remains dwarfed by the mountain's ascent. The earth claims the hotel naturally, the builders intentionally camouflage it, the view appears untouched. The hotel makes little distinction in landscape, in effect it is ghosting. Disappearing, the first ghost of The Shining is the hotel itself. And the last in reverse. The bug's yellow continues in the film, visibly doubled in the lot. As if the yellowness is absorbed into the hotel like an organism swallowing a pill. Yellow lines paint the two-lane road, and these same doubles will appear again in the hotel during a key scene. Yellow's value is symbolic, and it extends to gold, where the fusion of sun worship and mythical valuation creates confusion. A bloodlust that leads humans to worship this rare radiant metal, and not its properties' mythic origin. Knowledge. The center of the hotel is its gold ballroom. The interview, employed forwards and backwards. The title refers to both the dialogue pairings that follow and to the film itself, literally, a view between two worlds, the mirror shot of the lake's reflection, etc. Titles break time within the film, convincing us each sequence between them is continual. They're as colorless as the photos on the walls. They are crucial elements to the horror in a film that deals with writing and aims. Kubrick even reserves his biggest shock cut of the film for theses titles, Tuesday. The use of this key phrase, it could be mistaken as a subtitle of what Shining accomplishes. It shows you where the other side is. The interview has the same double meaning Kubrick withdraws from his use of intermission in 2001. Besides giving the audience a chance to use the bathroom, it also functions as a break in the Jupiter mission. English separates these motion images. The chapter titles appear centered horizontally like the first moment of the first image of the film, the island. Camera follows Jack, like the reading of text, left to right. The interview develops structure. Jack crosses through English origin design, the windows, the chandelier, upon Native American patterns, to an English transaction counter, where paper notes behind the counter are angled right. The implied horizon, wood versus painted wall, splits these two realms. In the far distance, through the far doorway, is the final location of the film, the 1921 photograph. Framed gold ballroom details, sign, curtains that frame his final appearance photo. Jack crosses in front of our counterpoints and extensions of the sun's earlier flaring. This human synthesis of color forms brings the sun indoors. Kubrick carefully begins the framing of angled forms that reach off frame begun by the road's lines. Notice the ceiling edge and table counter. These are forms that suggest continuum. Very few scenes in The Shining lack this quality. They mimic Horizon Infinity animations of 2001's Stargate sequence. Here we have a reversal of the Stargate. These angles are extrusions, solid, subliminal animated forms that lead us to the past. Other Kubrick films employ these framing conventions. Here they acquire ulterior significance and mirror to 2001. In a film about qualities of knowledge, description, and perception, the entrance shot has Jack, a writer, pass in front of two written notices, in front and behind of a group of seated readers to a counter, where messages are written and stored, copiously labeled. Something to remember for later. The inverse of this view is the night Jack enters the party. The gold ballroom sign then is left instead of right. A 35mm SLR camera, aimed at the audience, sits on a table next to the seated reader. It's a slight suggestion we are having our picture taken for a wall hanging. We are to be ghosted into the walls like Jack. The final image of the film is a pictured dead audience facing a living one.
Hi, I've got an appointment with Mr. Ullman. My name's Jack Torrance.
I got an appointment with Mr. Ullman. My name's Jack Torrance. First word of film is I. Our first double is the pairing of the actor and the character he plays. Jack Nicholson, Jack Torrance. Names matter. Jack will later be defined by who calls him by which part of his name. From now on he is either Dad, Jack, or Mr. Torrance. The receptionist is the first ghost we meet. She is dressed to subtly imply she and the hotel are one entity. Reed suffused these early scenes to continue the hotel's exterior ghosting.